you did mention that you arrived with pets.
Ah, yes.
So quite a few people, of course, who are looking at moving to Uruguay, they also have pets.
Mhm.
How did you do it? How was the process?
So I have three dogs and two cats. Now my
Oh,
dogs are small. I know, I have quite a few.
oh, but they're small.
They're small. My dogs are small. Two of them are smaller than the cats. So we were coming from Europe. I've moved to many countries at this point, with pets to every country. And if you've ever done it, you know it can be from a challenging to extremely challenging and frustrating to nearly impossible process. It can be very hard. Uruguay is by far the simplest process I've been through with my pets. The biggest trick was the airline. For me, I was coming from Europe and we had five pets, which is more than one per person. And so I had to find an airline that would allow you to have more than one per person. That was the biggest hardship, which has nothing to do with getting them into Uruguay. It only has to do with me having a zoo. You know? But the process is very simple. It's simply you make sure your animal's up to date on their shots. I'm pretty sure they needed to be microchipped. And within 30 days before your arrival in the country, you go to your vet, you have them fill out a health certificate, and you bring that with you along with their vaccine records. And it was extremely simple. When we actually arrived, they gave it a cursory glance and said, "Welcome to Uruguay." Yeah, it was amazing. It was a really, really easy process. It was much easier getting my pets here than it was getting my belongings here.
Oh, wow. Well, that will reassure a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah, it's a very easy process.
And um, do you recall the airline?
We ended up having to fly through Buenos Aires. So we flew because Iberia out of Spain won't fly with the pets. I can't remember who we ended up flying with, but we had to fly through Buenos Aires and then take the buque bus.
And take the ferry across.
Yeah,
Okay,
that was the hardest part.
and how did the animals come then?
So two rode in the cabin with us, and then three rode under the plane. We were
Mm.
allowed to have one each with us, and then the other three under. In the bouquet bus, in the ferry, we rented a car, and we put them all in the car, and they stayed in the car while we were up in the ferry, and they were fine. I wasn't worried at all. It was very safe.
Oh, that's amazing. My understanding is that you can't take a hire car from one country to the other.
You can, but you have to have like a special note from the car rental, which we had arranged in advance, just to have a special little note. And it was easy.
And
It
so,
ended up being easy.
and so you used an international car company then that would allow you to drop off the car in Montevideo?
No, we had to take it back. That
Ah,
is the catch, is you have to take it back to Argentina.
well, but that's not bad though. I mean, it's still, we're talking about, right?
A few hours. And then when we arrived here, we were exhausted, of course, from flying. And we brought the car and we kept it here a few days. And then we took it back to Argentina and spent a few days in Argentina. So it was perfect.
Amazing. Amazing. And I know that a lot of people have heard all sorts of things about, and they say to me like that they would never dream of putting their pets in the hold of the airplane. Now, I brought my cat down from Washington, D.C. when I moved here 25 years ago.
Wow.
And our cat literally just kind of like strolled out of his little cat carrier
Yes.
into the garden of the place that we were renting. And just, it was like he'd lived there all his life.
Same. My pets, and I was the same when I left because when I left Costa Rica to move to Austria, I also had to take all my pets and then again here. And I had never put an animal in the hold below. And I was one of those people that said, I will never do that. But then I had no choice unless I was going to fly five family members with me, you know? So it was one dog and two cats that went under. And in both instances, they came out like nothing had happened. Like they had gone and taken a nice nap. Now I did check with the airlines in both instances to be sure that they had, a nice hold, that it was one that was climatized. It was, separate enough from the luggage because you hear crazy stories. And they like one even offered to send me a video of what it looked like.
You're not the first person who's told me about that. About like literally like having their pet that somebody offers to video their pets for them as they're going.
It was
I, I
really,
I think we want the name of this company. So maybe if you have I mean, might you have a way of looking it up and we'll pop the name of the company in
I'll try, well, I
the
just
show
flew
notes?
just with the airline. I didn't use a pet relocation company.
Yeah. No, no, I mean the airline though, because
I
you
will.
said you checked up and there were other ones that wouldn't allow you, right, to fly
Yeah.
direct.
I
Yeah.
will find out. I will find out. Yeah. Absolutely.
Amazing.